Among many of the things that IT professionals can be stressed with, 55% of people that work in IT say that irritability is one thing that stresses them out the most.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Welcome to DevTech 101, aka Black Mantle, as we discuss information technology, also known as IT. In today's episode, I wanted to do a special take on IT professionals and how they feel in their day-to-day jobs. Now, I want you to keep this in mind that this is speaking not only from a professional standpoint with me being in the IT field, but also looking at data and statistics surrounding the information that I'm providing to you on the channel today. And the reason why I'm bringing this up because I actually had someone the other day as I was asking them about how they were doing it, if they needed additional help on something that I was technically helping them with. They mentioned to me that it was too much work. And in my head, mentally, I thought, you have no idea what too much work is compared to what the things that I see and go through and IT professionals go through and see. So let me split this off into two ways. Among organizations, you have multiple different types of people that work within there, whether they're in finance and accounting, whether they're in customer care, whether they're in a production environment, whether they're in a development environment or whatever. One of the most common things is IT professionals tend to work 24/7, 365. Even though other departments primarily enjoy their weekends, I guarantee you when the clock hits 5 o'clock, they're out of the door. They want to go home. That's the end of the day. They don't take home or work home with them. As opposed to IT professionals, which some of them and most of them are remote in today's society, but the very few that do work on site literally is going to have a backpack. They're taking their computer home with them. They're going to be working late hours. They turn up and work. And so when you see them just kind of walking around, kind of de-stressing, just know that they work more than you do outside those normal hours of operation. Now, a lot of times what you will see is the irritability, meaning getting irritated very easily is very common in IT because you sometimes will see and read things is the way that people respond really irritates you. And that is pointed out to be one of the most common stress symptoms among IT professionals, at least about 55%. Now, when you're looking at that, a way to kind of cope with that is oftentimes listening to music or sometimes maybe watching a movie as you're doing your work, whatever that may help with you within that environment. Now, in terms of people saying that they're very busy, here's the catch. IT professionals are very busy day in and day out. Think about this. A normal person that's going to be working in a non IT environment, they get the opportunity to casually come to work with their espresso, their coffee. They get a chance to sit down at their desk. They get the opportunity to work without being interrupted. They may have a little bit of minimal task here, which may require them to go and pick up something off the printer and come back. For the most part, they don't have people walking up to their desk to actually pull them away to help them solve a problem because they can actually solve it sitting right then and there. Now, when you look at it from an IT person's perspective, especially when you're working in the operation side, you will have people who will actually approach you, whether you're in a meeting or whether you are working on an assignment. People will actually pull you away from your workstation and then you end up having to go somewhere and solve the problem. Now, being a person that's worked in multiple different types of industries, I can tell you is just about the same no matter where you work because people feel that you are Superman and that you can handle all these type of issues. But in reality, what they don't realize is that while they're at home sleeping and while they're enjoying their lunch break at a specific time and while they're enjoying the holidays, oftentimes you are working just around the clock. Now, another way to cope with stress is oftentimes A lot of IT professionals can pretty much take a break whenever they deem necessary. Now, while breaks are not specifically assigned in most organizations, at least a walk to the coffee machine or somewhere like that to actually de stress is very helpful. I mean, for goodness sake, even if I'm like working on something, I may take a quick coffee break just to get out there and actually just relax my mind before I move on to the next thing that's taking place. So when you see an IT person walking around, that's not an opportunity to just say, hey, I have a quick question to ask you. What that means is when you see them just walking around and just, kind of de stressing, leave them alone for a minute and follow the proper protocol in order to contact them to help you resolve your problem. So when you look at this overall from their perspective, the next time that you say that you have an extremely busy day or it is too much work, just realize the amount of work that is packed on an IT professional. And when I say IT professional, I mean people from dev ops, people from network administration, people from cybersecurity, across the whole spectrum. That IT people work around the clock, whether you're on call or not. Your job never ends. Why? Because you have to not only deal with your work, but you have to help other people continuously work and make sure that their systems are operating and the company is operating and the company is safe. So, with today's episode, I hope that kind of gave you a little bit of insight on the difference in the working between a non IT person and an IT professional. And I hope that the percentage of people that are stressed out in IT as far as being irritated with certain things is a bit high. And there's ways that you can actually help with that. So I'm going to leave that to you. Put it down in the comments below. Look forward to talking with you all soon.